So I'm joined here today with CJ Lee, who is a car enthusiast and also a local racer. So CJ, if you don't mind, I would like to ask you a few questions this evening. So my first question is, what about Malaysian culture has translated into cars?
Well, I feel like Malaysian culture is a melting pot because we have all these races and all these like cultures. They're all blended into one small area, and that has translated a lot into cars. We built some of the more unique cars. We are not afraid to mix cultures and categories and genres and things like that. So you will find a very interesting mix of cars, like German engines in Japanese cars, or American cars running German engines, and a lot, you know, it's like much like our food, so everything's been mixed
Does
up.
that always work though? I mean, like our food, some things can taste pretty bad or leave a sour taste in the mouth.
Yeah, well, that is up to the Malaysian perseverance, right? We are very, how do we say, resilient people, and we are very resourceful.
Yes.
Even if it doesn't work, we'll find a way. We've been living on Proton. Proton is essentially a copy of Mitsubishi, and we don't actually have Mitsubishi support, but we make our own parts eventually. Right. So being Malaysian will make it work.
Fantastic. So next question, how would you describe the local car culture here?
How do I describe the local car culture? I would say we make the best of what we have, because economically we might not be the richest, so we might not find a lot of super high-end cars like Lamborghinis or Ferraris. Yeah, we do have them, but we don't have a lot of them.
Very seldom.
Yeah, so we make cheap old cars new and better. So that's what we do.
So when people buy like the Corollas and they do like a project car, and they put stuff in and subsoiler.
Yeah, a lot of grandfather's cars get passed on. Yeah,
okay.
that's the key.
Now, is the art of a car considered before buying a car?
Well, I would say it depends on the buyer, but yeah, the looks of a car, the design of the car plays a big part in selling it. Yeah, but I would say because we're Malaysian, we are a lot more economical when it comes to it.
Yeah.
So a lot of how economical the car is, how much petrol does it take, how far can it go, and how much it costs to maintain. Those factors affect us more when buying a new car.
But sometimes performance costs a lot of money, as you know, with the BMWs, the Mercedes, and whatnot. So it can't always be economical in terms of performance-wise. What do they do to change that? So do they modify their cars with different things? Do they, in your opinion, what do they do?
Well, in my opinion, it's a little bit of both, but most people who own project cars will have something that they drive on the daily, so that they don't have to give up one thing and have the other.
Right.
That's why we have cheaper project cars, cheaper cars that we make go fast. But we have like a normal, like we drive CRVs, we drive MyVs on the daily, so that we can afford to run a more expensive car.
To please the wife and the family as
Exactly.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I would like to know, what would your dream car be specifically if you could only pick it because of aesthetics?
Because of aesthetics, purely.
Right, purely.
Okay.
Factoring out performance and everything else.
Okay. I would pick probably a Maserati.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ghibli?
Yeah, no, probably like the last Gran Turismo.
Okay.
Yeah, it has really good lines. It's designed by Ferrari and also Pininfarina, and supported by like Fiat and companies like that. So it's a really big amalgamation of many good designers and marketers and all these people coming together, making a car look purely good.
A lot of thought put in there.
Yeah.
Second last question, is car culture in Malaysia evolving at the moment?
Is car culture
So we recently had the KL International Motor Show, and we had Velocity like 2 months back, and we had Art of Speed 4 or 5 months back, and we have everything once a month, rallies and whatnot. Do you think it's still evolving at this time?
I would say evolving, yes, but in terms of numbers, we're not growing. Not rapidly. But in terms of ingenuity and creativity, yes, we are actually pretty far up there in terms of Southeast Asia. We probably beat by Japan and Taiwan, and the rest of them, we have our own unique niche.
But they've been doing it for longer, is that right?
Yeah, because you look at Japan, they have big companies like Nissan, Toyota, and a lot of small racing companies that support them.
Toge Racing is involved as well.
Yeah, a lot of track racing, drifting, and all these things. But In Malaysia, we have slightly less of that because of lack of facility.
Yeah.
But we make do. We make do, and we are very creative people. We are like somewhat like Cuba, where we make little things that are old and we make them a lot better. Yeah. So we are good at improvisations when it comes to that. That's how we evolve here.
Last question, what changes would you like to see in the car culture in Malaysia at this point?
What changes would I like to see? I would say that people should not be worried about how much a car costs.
Yeah.
It's the whole perspective of a car. People would see it like, oh, it's a liability. It will cost me more money in the long run. But if you are using it as an outlet, right, an outlet of art or engineering or any part of it, it becomes productive. You shouldn't see it as a cost of money, because if you go paintballing, it will cost you $100 every time. Yeah. If you go play football, you have to rent the court.
Yeah.
But what difference does it make when you spend the money on the car?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's still a hobby. It's still a way of life. It's still viable.
Yeah. I mean, it is evolving in a sense. Like, we recently got the RWB museum in Johor, didn't we?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So we would like to go more towards that end and less of the, oh, we just buy a car so we can drive it kind of. And it has to be more appreciated a little bit more, put more value into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, thank you very much, CJ. Thank you for your time. It's a good talking to you.
Thank you.